Breaking news has shaken households across the country, as officials have confirmed that $3,000 stimulus checks have been approved and are already scheduled to hit bank accounts this very week. After months of speculation, delays, and debates over whether another round of financial relief would ever materialize, the announcement has sparked both excitement and disbelief. Millions of Americans who have been struggling with rising living costs, mounting credit card debt, and skyrocketing rent prices are finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. For many, this is not just another government payout. It feels like a lifeline, a long-awaited moment of breathing room that could make the difference between keeping the lights on and falling deeper into financial despair. The most striking revelation is the speed at which this money is arriving, not weeks away, not soon, but this very week, with direct deposits rolling out in waves starting as early as Wednesday. That means by the weekend, some recipients will already be able to use their funds for groceries, bills, or perhaps even a rare moment of financial relief that hasn't been felt in years. But behind the celebration is a wave of curiosity and confusion. Who exactly qualifies? Will everyone see the full $3,000? Officials have clarified that eligibility has been slightly broadened compared to past rounds of stimulus checks, meaning more households are in line to receive payments than before. Single filers with incomes under a certain threshold, married couples filing jointly, and even some individuals who were previously excluded, such as certain categories of retirees or caregivers, may now find themselves included in the program. This expansion has sent people racing to check their accounts, tax records, and government portals to confirm whether they are on the list. The timing of this relief couldn't be more dramatic, hitting at a moment when inflation remains stubborn, energy bills are climbing with the onset of colder weather, and families are bracing for the expensive holiday season. The $3,000 figure is also what makes this round so headline-grabbing. It's larger than many prior checks, designed not just as a token of support, but as a bold injection of cash mint to directly counteract the economic strain gripping everyday Americans. The atmosphere online has already turned electric, with social media platforms buzzing with stories of people refreshing their bank apps, swapping screenshots, and sharing rumors of who's already been paid. Some are calling it the biggest financial surprise of the year, a mini stimulus package that seemed unlikely just weeks ago when political stalemates dominated the news cycle. Analysts are predicting that this direct cash injection could temporarily ease consumer pessimism, boost retail spending, and even stabilize some sectors that have been teetering on the edge. Small business owners, landlords, and service providers are also expected to benefit indirectly as the checks ripple through the economy and give people more spending power. Yet, there's also an undertone of skepticism. Will this be enough? Still, for most, the immediate reality is simple. Money is on the way, and for once, it's coming faster than expected. Adding to the intrigue is the mystery of the exact rollout schedule. Officials have said direct deposits are prioritized, which means those with up-to-date banking information on file with the IRS or relevant agencies will be first in line. Paper checks and prepaid debit cards will follow, though those may take a few extra weeks. This has created a sense of urgency for Americans to double-check their records, update their information if possible, and stay alert for official notifications. Scammers, unfortunately, are already circling, with warnings being issued about fake websites, phishing emails, and too-good-to-be-true phone calls claiming to speed up payment delivery. Authorities are urging people to rely only on official government portals and never to hand over personal details to unsolicited contacts. As the first wave of deposits begins, headlines are expected to shift rapidly from speculation to real-world stories. Families catching up on overdue rent, parents buying long-delayed essentials for their kids, or workers finally paying off burdensome debts. In short, the next few days could redefine the financial mood of the nation. The big question, though, is what comes next. Is this a one-time boost or the start of something bigger? Some insiders hint that depending on the success of this rollout, additional relief measures could be considered in the coming months. Others argue that this is a political move timed perfectly to build goodwill ahead of upcoming elections, a bold gesture designed to win over skeptical voters. Whatever the motivation, The immediate reality is undeniable. $3,000 stimulus checks have been approved, and the money is already flowing. For millions, this week is about more than headlines. It's about the tangible relief of seeing their bank balance rise, if only for a moment, in a time when financial stability feels increasingly out of reach. And with that, the countdown has begun. By the end of this week, countless Americans will either be checking their accounts in stunned disbelief or anxiously waiting for their turn, hoping that their name is on the list of lucky recipients. The relief is real, the timeline is urgent, and the impact, both personal and national, is about to unfold in real time. In the aftermath of the stunning announcement, the atmosphere across the country feels like a mixture of relief, anticipation, and a hint of cautious optimism. By now, millions have either already seen the $3,000 stimulus checks land in their accounts or are anxiously refreshing their banking apps in hopes that today will be their day. For those fortunate enough to have received the payment, the immediate effect is profound. Debts are being reduced, groceries stocked, overdue bills finally cleared, and in some cases, long postponed purchases are suddenly within reach. Families are sharing emotional stories online, describing how this unexpected boost is lifting them out of financial desperation, if only temporarily. The sheer volume of positive testimonies is creating a ripple effect, boosting consumer confidence and sparking a wave of spending activity that could give a noticeable jolt to the wider economy. Retailers, restaurants, and local businesses are already reporting an uptick in sales as Americans waste no time putting their checks to use. But beneath the excitement lies a bigger question. Is this the turning point, or just a fleeting moment of financial reprieve in a much longer struggle? Government officials are quick to highlight the broader impact of these stimulus checks, framing them as not just financial aid, but as a strategic move to steady an economy teetering between recovery and stagnation. With inflationary pressures still gnawing away at household budgets and whispers of an impending slowdown on Wall Street, the injection of direct cash into the hands of everyday Americans is being hailed as a bold and timely maneuver. Economists point out that this $3,000 relief package is larger than many of the previous stimulus waves, and its effect could be felt more immediately because of the timing, right before the holiday season, when spending typically surges. The hope is that this not only relieves individual households, but also creates momentum for economic growth in the final quarter of the year. Still, some experts remain skeptical, warning that a one-time payment cannot undo the systemic issues of rising rent, stagnant wages, and climbing interest rates. For households drowning in debt, $3,000 might feel like a drop in the bucket, a brief chance to breathe before sinking again. Yet, despite these concerns, the emotional weight of having cash in hand right now cannot be overstated. It's more than numbers on a ledger, it's a psychological boost, a reminder that help can arrive, even when it seems impossible. But the rollout hasn't been without drama. Reports are already surfacing of delays in certain regions, with some people claiming their deposits are still pending despite being told they'd arrive this week. Social media has become a battlefield of complaints, triumphs, and conspiracy theories, with frustrated users wondering if they've been skipped or overlooked. Officials are reassuring the public that payments are being processed in waves, and while many saw their deposits instantly, others may have to wait a few more days. Paper checks, meanwhile, are expected to trickle out over the next several weeks, which could leave some households in limbo during a critical financial period. Adding to the frenzy are scammers seizing the opportunity, luring unsuspecting victims with promises of expedited payments or fake portals designed to steal personal information. Authorities are doubling down on warnings, urging people to trust only verified government sources and never share sensitive details. Despite these hiccups, the majority of recipients are already celebrating, and the overall narrative remains one of relief rather than frustration. The emotional power of seeing money deposited directly into an account outweighs the temporary chaos of rollout logistics. As the checks continue to flow, political implications are becoming impossible to ignore. Critics argue that this move was timed deliberately to boost public approval and sway voters ahead of upcoming elections, painting the stimulus as more of a political strategy than an act of economic compassion. Supporters, however, insist that timing aside, the fact remains that real money is helping real people in a time of need, and that should be celebrated regardless of political motive. Talk shows, news outlets, and online commentators are dissecting every angle, debating whether this marks the beginning of a new era of government intervention or merely a flashy, one-time giveaway designed to calm restless citizens. What's certain is that public perception matters, and right now, the government is riding a wave of goodwill that may reshape the political landscape. With so many families directly touched by this relief, the checks could become a defining moment in the year's economic and political storylines. Looking forward, speculation is mounting about whether this stimulus is just the first domino to fall. Could additional relief packages follow if the economy shows signs of faltering again? Officials remain non-committal, but insiders hint that the reception to this $3,000 boost will play a significant role in shaping future policy decisions. If consumer spending rises, debt levels shrink, and household confidence grows, the government may see this as proof of concept for larger or more frequent interventions. On the other hand, if the impact proves fleeting, critics will seize the opportunity to argue against further spending measures, claiming the funds were wasted on a temporary fix. For now, though, the focus is squarely on the present, on the millions of Americans breathing a little easier this week, on the businesses welcoming more customers, and on the simple relief of financial pressure easing, even if just for a moment. The story is still unfolding, but one thing is clear. The approval and arrival of these $3,000 stimulus checks is not just another headline. It's a moment that will be remembered, debated, and analyzed for months, maybe years to come, and for countless Americans, it's a week they'll never forget.